Hey there. Today we're going to be doing a quick bar workout. I don't have a lot of time because we have a meeting at the gym, but I wanted to do just a little bit of conditioning to help with those tricky skills like squat-ons and, of course, our kip. So I was going to show some squat-on drills without a bar because we don't have bars. So if you do have a floor bar, then that would be awesome, and you can just practice it on the bar. But we can start in just a push-up position. And if you can start to sort of lean those shoulders over the wrists, then that can be kind of like our casting position. When we're casting on the bar and we're trying to do a squat on, we have to lean forward with the shoulders or else we're not going to get on top of the bar. We're going to end up falling back this way. So if we can start there with the shoulders forward, that kind of gets the same motion going and jumping the feet to the bar. Okay, so I'm bringing my feet in the same line as my hands. In fact, I should really be doing this on the crease in the mat. So if you have a piece of tape or something that you can put down, really just any sort of line, straight line that you can use to make sure that your feet are getting in the same place as your hands. And we're jumping to the ball of the foot for these. So really trying to imagine that bar, trying to balance in that squat position. I know some kids struggle with just that, just being comfortable in the squat on the bar and staying here. So if you can practice holding this position, then that's going to help you gain the confidence to do that squat on and just get used to having your feet and your hands in the same line, because I know that's the hardest part about this squat on is it's not like a squat on vault or even a squat on beam where you have all this room. You have to get it really, really close. So starting in this push-up, remember here we're kind of acting like we're in our cast with hips up, and then we bring the feet in close to the hands. From here, we can even practice this stand-up. This is a skill for uneven bars. So we're doing this on low bar so that we can stand up and reach the high bar. So you can practice that part as well, standing up. You can even jump if you want to. I don't know if we need to do that part, but just standing up and keeping control of your weight is really what we want, and keeping arms reaching because we want to be ready to catch the high bar. And this can also kind of work for our straddle-ons too. We do the straddle dismount. So if we can practice getting the feet in the same line in the straddle position too, then that can help with your various straddle dismounts. There's more than one kind, and there may be some other things we could do for these if we had a bar, but just on the floor, we can practice getting things straight in the line. I might not have room with my long legs, but same idea. We're going from our casting position here and jumping up to that straddle. The key on this straddle on is keeping the hips up. So think about that. As you're bringing the feet in, it's hips up and then feet to the bar. So let's do maybe 5 of those squat-ons and try 5 of those straddle-ons as well. So again, you missed it earlier, shoulders forward, jumping to a squat, standing up. Again, try to get that balance. I see kids sometimes stand up too soon. The scary thing about the squat on when you're standing up to get to the high bars, we want to jump forward and not lose our balance going backwards. So when you're standing up, think about where your shoulders are and where you're keeping your weight. We want to make sure, it's really important we don't arch back as we stand. So when you're going from the squat to the standing position, should be arms in front, ready to reach and jump and grab the high bar. These are kind of fun. I haven't done them without a bar, but here we are. Another important thing I want to mention, because I see this mistake, especially on beam for squat-ons, maybe not so much on bars, but when you stand up to that straight body position, don't stand up with your bottom first, because this makes me want to fall on my face. Make sure that you're standing up from your shoulders. Your knees should be higher than your hips, right? My knee is up here, my hip is down here. So this helps me get this nice squat position where I'm ready to stand straight up with my weight and not fall forward. I feel like I had my weight pretty far forward on that one, haven't I? Here we go. Okay, and if you can too, as you're jumping to that squat from the push-up position, try to kind of keep eyes up. I found that helps a lot to get to high bar or just to get your squat on is keeping eyes up instead of looking down at the ground. So remember that too. So let's try this straddle one as well. If you had a bed or something really soft to do this on, you could also practice that sit down out of this, because our straddle does not, starts on top of the bar like this. We cast and bring our feet to the bar, and then we swing and go down. But you can't do that on a hard surface without hurting your bottom. So if you have something squishy, you could practice just trusting yourself and letting yourself drop while keeping hands and feet in the same line, imagining that your feet are on the bar and your hands are on the bar. Might try that later on a very super soft surface. Tell me how it goes, because I haven't done that one at home, just in the gym with mats. But I think it's the same thing if you have something soft. Would be even better if we had a bar, but we don't. So the straddle one, again, trying to kind of keep eyes up a little bit. And jump back to. There we go. Okay, I don't know if that was quite 5, but you kind of get the idea on those. That's as close as we can get without any other equipment. If you did have a floor bar at home, then you could practice more of that sit down out of it onto a soft surface. But other than that, just if you can use the edge of anything to just practice sort of balancing in your squat, that can be good. Like just the edge of the mat here is a little bit more difficult, more challenging than doing it completely. Ooh, I fell, so you can tell it's more challenging. A little bit harder than doing it on a flat surface. So just practicing this balance here, getting comfortable standing up from there and keeping the weight forward, then that's going to help you out. There's a good drill where movable spot gymnasts just sitting on the bar like little owls, just hanging out. So if you feel uncomfortable in the squat, then just being in it more is going to help you with these. Okay, so I said in the description, or when I shared these, to bring some type of bar-shaped object. That could be a broom, lightsaber, like we used before. I'm using like a coat rack kind of thing, or I don't know, a clothing rack, I suppose. This is like the perfect size. It could be thicker because that's more like a bar, but it works because it's not like a broom that's too long. So just make sure you're not going to whack anything. And you can do, you can do these without a bar too. So don't worry if you don't have one. I did these in an earlier video, but I think they're just such important exercises for our kips. It takes a lot of strength training to get this skill. So you've got to make sure you're doing this stuff at home. If that's something you want to get, you have to put in the work for it. So this new to me one that I quite like is just practicing bringing the feet up to the bar. So all you're doing is piking and bringing your feet above your head. Okay, and you're going to end up lifting your hips up off of the ground in this process. Otherwise, you just kind of like smack yourself in the face. So let's try to do 10 of these. And really try to control on the way down too. Don't just like flop when your feet come down. We're trying to stay really tight and in control. One more. Okay, that one is like my new favorite. I think that those are really good because it's so similar to that motion of bringing the toes to the bar, and I think that's the hardest part when you're starting out on these. I mean, it's hard enough to do that glide, but then to glide out and pull the toes to the bar before you start that backswing, that timing is really tough because it takes a lot of strength. So the more core conditioning you can do, the easier that kip is going to come for you. The other sort of like version of this is to complete the skill even more by sitting up out of it. So with this, you're lifting the toes up to the bar again, but as you bring the feet back down, you're going to come up with them, and you're keeping the bar close to your legs. We say it's like putting on pants. I joked before that no one puts on pants like that. It's just weirdos. But whatever helps you remember. So keeping it close, we're touching the legs, and we finish here, except I'm doing it sort of backwards. I'll show you the whole thing. So we're here, toes, we're dragging, and come up, okay? And that's it. Try to keep it that it's not possible to you're gonna hurt yourself if you bring the bar in all the way to your hips and straighten your arms. It's kind of hard. So it's okay to just finish here to practice keeping your arms straight, because I don't want to see these bent arm kips. And sometimes those first ones we get to muscle up there, but we want nice, pretty ones eventually. So let's do a good 5 of these. Okay, really focus on that snap up at the top. I've seen people get so close and the shoulders are just far enough behind the bar that they're not going to make it on top. So really try to get that lean forward at the end as far as you can. And make sure too, you're thinking about flicking your wrists on top of the bar. We don't want the wrists under the bar at the end. You're not going to make it up to front support. So you've got to get that wrist rotation as you come around so that you finish on top of the bar. Woo, you got away. I'm going to try that again. There we go. That one, I had that gap with the bar coming far away from me, so I tried again, keeping that closer to my body. So those are my favorite kip drills, not because they're like that fun, just because I think they're effective in that you're really going through the motion of the skill, and I think they're fun. So bonus points. So I have to check the time because I have a meeting. Okay, we're okay. For a few more. Basically, those two are the closest to going through the whole skill, but we can also do just general core conditioning that we don't need this for. So you can put it wherever you want to. Put your lightsaber away. And so we're going to do these starfish crunches, and we're just going to do 5 on each side. But basically, you're matching opposite arm and opposite leg and kind of sitting up into that. And so we'll do 5 on each. Those are definitely tougher than they look. Okay, and we will also do, let's do 10 of these crunches. And it'd be good if you had a pillow or a shoe. I don't know. I don't have any of those things here. To pin between your elbow and your knee. So I'm just going to do that with my imaginary pillow or foam block. That's what I use at the gym is foam. So if you can get something that size. So you pin it here between knee and elbow. And then you're going to close the gap with the other side. And when you extend back, we're here, not dropping flat. This creates more work for you. So try to catch it here instead. And we'll try to do 10. These are really tough. You want to make sure it's important. Again, we want to round out the back so that your lower back is making contact with the ground. You shouldn't be arched. You shouldn't be able to fit a hand underneath you that is archy, and you're not going to be feeling the conditioning as well. So make sure that you're kind of bringing that belly button back. You're keeping your core tight, and you're not just relaxed. It shouldn't feel easy. These should be difficult. Okay, other side. I'm already feeling it. I've only done one side. do more. I think that was interpretive dance for a second there. Something. I hope you did better than I did on those. Those are tough. We're going to end with a nice tummy stretch. So you can either do a bridge or the seal stretch for this. But like I said, I just wanted to do a quick little bar workout. This is probably our last live stream since we'll be back next week. But I suppose if there's demand, I could do some on specific things that you want to see in the future. But the regular ones are probably done. You can also bring your feet up to your head. Tilt your head up. That's going to give you a deeper stretch too. Okay, so make sure you're still stretching, and I'll see some of you guys next week. So that will be awesome. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.